In a dramatic turn of events, a former police officer known for his notorious reputation as a bad cop has been caught and brought to justice. The courtroom is packed with anticipation as the judge delivered the life sentence, and the reactions from both the accused and the onlookers were intense and emotional. The defendant, Officer John Michaels, had a long history of misconduct and abuse of power. His actions had caused immense harm to the community that he had sworn to protect and serve. Over the years, numerous complaints had been filed against him for excessive use of force, racial profiling, and corruption. However, he had managed to evade accountability and escape punishment thanks to his position of authority and connections within the police force. But his luck ran out when compelling evidence emerged, including video recordings and testimonies from victims and witnesses, that irrefutably exposed his unethical and illegal behavior. The prosecution built a strong case against him, leaving no room for doubt about his guilt. As the trial progressed, the tension in the courtroom was palpable, and the victims and their families, along with the public, eagerly awaited the verdict. When the judge finally pronounced the life sentence for Officer Michaels, the reactions were profound. The accused stared blankly, seemingly in disbelief, as the weight of the sentence sank in. He had likely expected leniency or acquittal given his history of evading consequences, but this time, justice prevailed, and he was held accountable for his actions. The victims and their families were visibly emotional, with some shedding tears of relief. For them, this verdict represented closure and vindication after enduring years of mistreatment at the hands of Officer Michaels. It was a powerful moment that validated their suffering and sent a clear message that no one, regardless of their position, is above the law. The courtroom was abuzz with mixed emotions. Some expressed satisfaction and applauded the verdict, while others lamented the tarnished reputation of law enforcement caused by Officer Michaels' actions. The case also reignited discussions about police reform and the need for greater accountability within the justice system. Outside the courtroom, the media frenzy was intense. Reporters jostled to get a glimpse of Officer Michaels as he was escorted out of the courthouse, now in handcuffs. His once confident demeanor was replaced by a sense of defeat as he was led away to begin his life sentence. The public's reaction was divided, with some expressing shock and disappointment in the betrayal of the trust by a law enforcement officer, while others were relieved that justice had been served. In the aftermath of the verdict, there were renewed calls for systemic changes in the police force. Activists and community leaders demanded reforms that would hold law enforcement officers accountable for their actions, promote transparency, and rebuild trust between the police and the communities they serve. Many emphasized the importance of improving training and oversight, addressing implicit bias, and implementing stricter regulations to prevent abuse of power. The impact of Officer Michaels' case also reverberated beyond the local community. It sparked national and even international attention, serving as a stark reminder of the need for systemic changes in law enforcement practices. The case was seen as a crucial step towards addressing long-standing issues of police brutality, racial discrimination, and abuse of power, and many hoped that it would serve as a catalyst for positive change. In the months that followed, Officer Michaels' case had a ripple effect on law enforcement agencies across the country. There were increased scrutiny of police practices, and many departments began implementing reforms to promote transparency, accountability, and community engagement. Some jurisdictions adopted body cameras for officers, implemented de-escalation training, and established civilian review boards to oversee police conduct. For Officer Michaels, life in prison would be a harsh reality. Stripped of his badge and authority, he would have to face the consequences of his actions for the rest of his life. As he was led away to begin his sentence, he appeared to be a shadow of his former self. The once arrogant and powerful cop now wore a haunted expression, realizing the gravity of his actions and irreversible consequences of his choices. In the courtroom, the judge's verdict had a profound impact on the victims and their families. Many of them had suffered physically, emotionally, and mentally at the hands of Officer Michaels. For them, the life sentence was a form of validation, a recognition that their pain and suffering had not been in vain. It was a moment of closure as they finally saw their abuser held accountable for his actions. One of the victims, Miss Johnson, whose son had been a victim of Officer Michaels' excessive use of force, spoke to the media outside the courtroom. She expressed relief and satisfaction with the verdict, stating, "No sentence can bring my son back, but at least I know that this officer will never harm anyone again. This is a step towards justice for my son and all the other victims of police brutality." Others also voiced their support for the verdict, hoping that it would serve as a deterrent for other law enforcement officers who abuse their power. They emphasized the importance of accountability and the need for meaningful changes in policing practices to prevent similar injustices from occurring in the future. However, not everyone was pleased with the outcome. Some members of the police force expressed disappointment, feeling that Officer Michaels' actions had tarnished the reputation of law enforcement as a whole. They acknowledged that his behavior was unacceptable and that he deserved punishment, but also felt that the case had cast a negative light on the entire police force, which they believed was unfair. So that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so that you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next video.